Hello, you. It's me. And I've been sitting on this for a bit, and I just wanted to express my thoughts. I was watching a video that Becca Scoops did with somebody named Lori Expert in Dreams or something like that. And she gives some really good information about narcissism. And they concluded that Gypsy, if she were to be diagnosed, could easily be diagnosed as a narcissist as well as a psychopath. And I mean, I can agree with that to some degree, except that it is of my opinion that narcissism is a lesser degree of sociopathy and psychopathy. We start with narcissism, and the best way that I could think to describe this is a narcissist likes to hurt people emotionally. They like to make fun of them, they like to hurt them, and they like to laugh at them because that fuels their ego and makes them feel good. When it comes to a sociopath, they go a little bit further. They not only want to hurt somebody mentally, but they don't care if they hurt somebody, they don't care if they hurt somebody emotionally, but they also don't care if they hurt somebody mentally. It really doesn't matter to them because they just want to get to what they want to get to, and if you're in their way, they'll shove you to the side. Now, the difference between sociopathy and psychopathy is that a psychopath just doesn't care. If they have to hurt you emotionally, if they have to hurt you mentally, or if they have to hurt you physically to get what they want and need in order to feel comfortable, then they'll do that without a second thought, without hesitation. Because they don't view people as people, or certainly as equals. People to them are just a means to an end. They're not people. They lack that human trait of emotion that gives people some kind of importance and value. It just doesn't exist. Now, there are very few, but there are some psychopaths who are self-aware. And those people are very interesting to speak with and to read about because they're very clear. They don't know how to interact with human beings. So what they do is they watch, they take notes, they see how people interact with each other in order to try to interact with them that way as well, in order to seem more human instead of more or less robotic, which a lot of them seem to be like. It's not their fault. It's the part of the brain that never developed that just it's like a deletion in their head. And I'm not gonna say micro deletion. Okay, I did, but it's like a deletion in their brain. It doesn't exist. So they just never learned how to do that because that part of their brain isn't there. It's just not there. And it's hard to feel sorry for a psychopath because a lot of them are not self-aware and they just kill, maim, do whatever they want and then end up in prison. And that's the end of it. If you've ever seen a true psychopath in like a courtroom setting, they're not going to cry. They're just dead in the face, dead in the eyes, because what matters to them most is that they're in discomfort. But it's not a feeling. They don't feel like that. They're very different. So when they were saying on this video that she could be a narcissist and a psychopath, no, she's just a psychopath, in my opinion. I'm not diagnosing. This is only what I've gathered from what I have witnessed, from what I've seen. It would be my opinion that she would most likely be diagnosed as just a psychopath. because she has all the traits of a narcissist and of a sociopath, down to being able to kill somebody, her mother, without a second thought. That's a psychopath. So that's just something, again, this means nothing to anybody, I guess, but it means something to me because it's something that I studied and something that I was very passionate about and still am. And that's one of the reasons why Gypsy Rose is interesting to me. Not just because, in my opinion, she could be diagnosed as a psychopath, but it's interesting to see the people around her who fall for her shit. She's not even that good at it. I mean, I fell for it at one time, but, I'd seen one or two interviews. That's it. I never saw any of the shows or anything. Never saw the act. Never saw Mommy Dead and Dearest. The only thing I really saw was the Dr. Phil thing. And I believed her. I thought she had been abused because I've been abused. And I think a lot of people who have been abused identify with her. But when you realize that that was all bullshit, then you want to dive into it a little bit deeper. But ultimately, the goal for me is hoping to spread a message that she is not good and that she should be in prison. And again, it's not just to punish her, but it is to keep others safe from her. I mean, even in prison, we saw the emails that she had at least one pay pig, probably a lot more. She's apparently talking to a lot of dudes. So she probably had more people giving her money. So it's interesting that even in prison, she was still affecting other people, still harming other people. And she didn't care. She didn't care what she said, what she did, as long as she could get something out of it, whether it's an ego boost or some money and an ego boost. That's all she cared about. And that was up until the last couple months before she was on parole. Her little grandstanding of, I was in my 20s, we all do stupid things in our 20s. No, these were things that were in your 30s. These were just a couple months away from being paroled. These weren't just some stupid kid games. You were continuing to play these games up until your release. That's not, I was just in my 20s. That's just who I am. She's a grifter. But again, it's all about her. It's about what she can get for herself so that she feels good and happy and moves forward. She doesn't show any signs of loving. She'll pretend. You can see she studies other people to learn how they work in the world so that she can emulate them. She did that with her sister. She did that with Kim Kardashian. She's obviously seen mommy blogs and tried to emulate that as well. The problem is there's nothing genuine about what she does because it's not genuine. She doesn't have those feelings. I would never hear her say that her child, who she barely speaks of now, she never says anything like my life would be my life is better now that I have a child than when I didn't. Nothing like that. Or, I really love Aurora. Having her in my life is better than if now she was taken out of it. She never talks about Aurora in any way that even a psychopath would discuss their child. It drives me crazy. She has no regard for her child whatsoever, except for when it makes her look better. And you can see this time and time again. She has no real regard for Ken, although she does have an obsession with him. But she has no real regard for him, except that she makes the picture complete. As soon as, I don't know if you hear that, just sirens just went off. That would startle me. But Yeah, everything she does is to make the right picture, to make it look right. It doesn't have to be right. It just has to look right to everybody else, which is probably why a lot of celebrities like Tori Spelling are giving her any time of day, because they are used to that kind of psychology of, oh, we have to look like a good family. We have to make the picture perfect. And then we can go on about our lives behind the scenes. They understand that having to look right, even if it's not right. And it's sad, honestly. It's really sad. I don't have anything against Tori Spelling, to be honest with you. But I think she just needs some love. I don't know. She needs a hug, but she needs advisors who will let her know Gypsy Rose Blanchard is not the person to talk to or to communicate with or to bond over, because everything is a lie. Tori went through actual stuff. Gypsy didn't. It's all bull. I mean, the whole thing where, did Nick grape her? Yes. I mean, no. I mean, yes. I mean, no. Which one is it? If you're graped, you know. You know what happened. You know that should not have happened. You know that it was bad. She doesn't understand if it's bad or good. She supposedly intentionally told Nick to bite her, to leave marks on her, to be rough with her, so that it would prove that she was graped, but then she wasn't. None of it makes sense, and that's what we have to understand. Her story changes. If you pay attention, which most people have, that are on this side of things anyway, her story changes with every person that she talks with. She never mentioned her mother having hallucinations until she talked to Tori. There's a reason for that, because she had to make it sound good to Tori. It doesn't matter that a bunch of her stories were very different to different people, because she had to convince the person she was talking to at the time. She didn't think beyond that. She may not have the ability to think beyond that. But she is really good at covering her ass. At least she thinks she is. We know she's not. And she'll play it down, which is definitely a narcissistic thing. Also sociopath and psychopath, just so you know. She'll play it down. Oh, I didn't say that. Oh, well, if I said that, I didn't mean it like that. Oh, well, I meant it like that, but it wasn't like it sounds. And she'll just keep going on and on, talking in circles until somebody believes her, until it sounds somewhat plausible. That's just what they do. But that's just not a narcissist. A sociopath does that, and so does a psychopath. Except the psychopath takes it to the extreme, which is why I believe if she were to be diagnosed, that's what she would be diagnosed as. One other thing too. When I was talking about Ryan, what she wrote, I don't know if she knew that was going to go out into the public, but I believe she wrote that to one of her male admirers. I don't know if it's true or not. And by the way, if you hear a baby crying, that's not my baby. I heard them in the hallway and now they're outside, so I don't know if you can hear that, but again, a little distracting. So hopefully the baby's okay. I'm sure the baby's fine. But anyway, babies do cry. With Ryan, I don't know what Gypsy said, if it was true or not. It very easily could have been a lie that she wanted to say to an admirer to line him up to be the next in line, if you know what I mean. The next in line to be her boyfriend, to be her husband, to be whatever. She had lots and lots of those. The point I was making is that because that has come out, true or not, people are going to believe it. Some people will, some people won't. I don't think Ryan has spoken on it. I don't blame him for that. He probably is trying to figure out how to speak on that. It's a terrible thing. What Gypsy said, it's disgusting. But a lot of what she says is disgusting. The whole thing about her 13-year-old daughter with Nick should deflower her. That's disgusting too. That definitely is out of the mind of Gypsy. Now, whether it's true or not, again, we don't know. But it's already damaged him. And that's what I was getting at, is it's already damaged his reputation. I don't believe he will ever be a teacher again after something like that. Now, 10, 20 years from now, would people forget about it? Probably. But then again, the internet is forever. So, you know, I feel sympathy for the guy, because whether it was true or not, it's out there in the world and it's going to affect him either way. And so I just hope for the best for him, that he can move on, figure out something else to do with his life. But I do feel for the guy, because whether it's true or not, it's wrecked his career completely. And I'm sure Gypsy's having a good laugh at that, because I'm sure that would have been her intent anyway. She wanted to ruin him, and she just keeps doing it. This time maybe not intentionally, but I'm sure, again, she's having a good laugh at it, because, again, doesn't matter if it's real or not. Gypsy said it, and now we know. And, you know, I'm sad for Ryan for that. Dealing with people, especially somebody who could be diagnosed, in my opinion, as a psychopath, this is what happens. They take pleasure. They revel in destruction, because nobody means anything to them except themselves. They'll do whatever it takes to keep their lives the way they want it. Doesn't matter who they harm, which is why I like to talk about it, because she's dangerous. She is incredibly dangerous. She set up Nick, and look at where he is, in jail for life. We can hope and pray that that will change at some point, that this it's not, apparently it's not a new trial, but it is a new oh gosh, my brain is just not working today. They can judge a new outcome. You know, instead of life in prison without parole, they can change that to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 35 years or something like that. They can change it. And I hope that they do, because if nothing else, I like to see Nick be released, because he was judged unfairly, because he does have a problem with coercion because of his mental disabilities. And forgive me that I'm not trying to besmirch him in any way. I don't know, I'm getting them all mixed up. I don't know Nick, but I feel like he was coerced. He couldn't help the coercion. And I feel like Gypsy did a lot more than she says she did. She was there. She used a knife, even if it wasn't the knife. And she was a big part of it. And Nick should not have taken the fall. It's Gypsy. But anyway, that's the hard thing, is when things are out there, like the intention of putting those movies out before Nick got his actual trial. Everybody thought Nick was guilty. He was the mastermind. That was intentional. And that wasn't just Gypsy who did that. That was also Christy. None of these people are good people. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you feel my passion. I really do have a passion for this. And it's because Gypsy is dangerous, in my opinion, and should not be out in the free world. She shouldn't. To protect herself as well as protect other people. Because who's to say that there isn't another person out there who is similar to Gypsy in their thoughts and decide Gypsy doesn't deserve to have a kid. Gypsy doesn't deserve to have a relationship. Gypsy doesn't deserve to have any family. Gypsy doesn't deserve a life. What if somebody comes after her? Now, of course, a lot of people might say, well, you know, that's karma. That's what you said about Nick's poor mother. Oh, well, that's karma. Really? She doesn't understand what karma is. And she doesn't understand that she's right in the middle of it. And someone could quite easily attack her. That's why she needs to be put away. Not just to save everybody else, but to keep herself protected. Because she's a very dangerous person who plays very dangerous games. And one of these days, although she thinks she's above it all, one of these days, she's going to get caught into something that she can't get out of. I hope that she ends up back in prison for the rest of her life. That would be the safest bet for her. But it may not be that safe. And that's what I don't get with the justice system, because they're putting her life in danger just as much as her being in the free world is putting everyone else's life in danger. It's not a win-win. It's a lose-lose. I would think that they would want to prevent that and let justice prevail. But as I learn more and more as I get older, I am so naive to think that justice prevails overall. Because it just doesn't. When it does, is when it should be celebrated. Because it does happen. Justice does prevail in many things, but not everything. And you wish it would. In this case, they dropped the ball big time. And now Gypsy's life could be in danger, and everybody who is around Gypsy's their lives could be in danger because she's the big threat. And people should know that and stay away from her at the very least. Stay away. Don't feed her ego. Stay away from her. Don't talk to her. Don't ask for pictures. Just stay away. She's not somebody that should be celebrated. She's infamous, not famous. And we should always keep that in mind. Oh, and one last thing that I want to say that has nothing to do with Gypsy. It has everything to do with Lori, the dream expert. She made a quick mention that Britney Spears is not talented. But I just want to inform her, and anyone else listening, that oh my God, I'm mixing up everybody. Britney Spears was actually an extremely talented singer who had a very strong, amazing voice. And they forced her to sing like a little baby. They forced that on her. Her real voice is incredible. I've heard recordings of it. I'm sure you could find it on YouTube. If I find it, I will direct you to it. But Britney Spears was an incredible talent. Now she's a little older, a little past her prime. Forgive me on that. But not all singers can hold their voice their entire lives. Some people lose it. And I don't know if Britney has or not. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention. But I know that Brittany has been really screwed over by the system. Another injustice. She was a lovely young girl with an incredible voice, and they ruined her. I just wanted to throw that out there, because saying that Britney Spears wasn't talented is a lie. It's just not true. And not that I'm a huge Britney fan, but man, my heart goes out to that girl, because she has been through it and we have seen it, and yet so few people spoke about it. And that's the bad part. We see it and we just let it happen because it doesn't affect us, but it does. Because the more that happens, the more that it will happen. And someday it could directly affect you. That's why you don't just walk away or turn a blind eye. Same with Gypsy. We can't just walk away and turn a blind eye to what she has done. She planned and murdered her mother. She planned it out for years, which they never talk about in the media. And she was part of it. Nick wasn't the only one who did the deed. She was there doing it with him. She ratted herself out. She talked about things that happened that weren't in the public. How did she know if she was hiding in the bathroom? Because she did them. That's why. We need to keep that going and talk about injustices, and hopefully justice will occur out of it. That's what I'm hoping for. Anyway, once again, thank you for listening. Even if it's just because you like my voice, thank you for that too. And that's all I got to say.